Mr. STICKERMANIA, I think we're live from Louisville, Kentucky. We got the gang all back. They were asking last week if Sticker Kid was okay. Are you okay? You're not. You look okay to me. Sticker Kid is going to be 13, a teenager.
Big kid.
Isn't that exciting? And you're 16. And I'm 70. Man, I'm a different generation than you guys. Way up there.
I'm 30.
You're 30.
I'm 30 million.
How's it going out there? Kind of cold here. It was 29 degrees today. We had some snow, a couple inches, a couple nights ago.
No, last night.
Last night, but
Yeah.
didn't last long because the ground was still pretty warm. I didn't hear about any wrecks or anything this morning.
Maybe because the snow wasn't sticking to the ground.
Just sticking to cars. All right, let's get going. First thing I'm going to talk about is Billy Joel. I know it's off the... But Billy Joel was definitely influenced by the Beatles. This is a picture sleeve for Billy Joel, Say Goodbye to Hollywood. What I want to say about Billy Joel, that new song that he's got, Turn the Lights Back On, is really emotional and unbelievable. Freddie Wexler, a younger guy, 30-year-old, wrote the song for him, or he's in his 30s. But that Grammy performance from a week ago was unbelievable. They should release that as a live version. I like it so much better than the studio version of that song. He's got all those professional musicians behind him there at the Grammys, and all the strings and everything, and Billy Joel's live voice. He's 74, but he put all his heart and soul into that performance. It's kind of like how the coming up lives for Paul McCartney was better than the studio. And the Maybe I'm Amazed from Wings Over America was up there with the studio version. But seeing Billy Joel on the Grammys doing that performance, I had to go back and watch the McCartney, Maybe I'm Amazed, and I had to go watch the Beatles, Hey Jude again, how those performances were so unbelievable. And I think this Billy Joel ranks up right up there with him. We had Now and Then by the Beatles that was real emotional and hit me last year, and this year we got Turn the Lights Back On by Billy Joel. What do you say out there about that?
Joseph Mancino said, "It's a great new song. I'm glad Billy is singing it."
Yeah. But I mean, on the studio version, it's kind of AI a little bit. And if you see the new video, the regular video they have, promo video for the song, they show Billy Joel twice, like as he's growing up real young performer. But I just think on the Grammys when he was 74 and he was giving it his all, and he had all these performers, all these musicians, all these girls with the strings and everything, it was unbelievable.
Joseph Mancino also said, "I sure hope a new album comes out with new songs."
Yeah, he was on Howard Stern. He says that hasn't been they haven't recorded songs yet, but this is going to be a huge hit, so I'm sure they'll come up with an album. Okay.
Nenox 111 said, "Want to give a shout out and thanks for selling me that Beatles 82 blue box set. I just received it."
Did you get a BC13? Hand me the one behind there while we're talking about that. Careful, the thing's heavy. Just got this in today. I think she's talking about she got an 82 BC13 from me. This is a late 1980 that I just got today. And I know the white album still has a laminated cover. That's about the last year that they made a laminated cover for the White Album from the United Kingdom. But I wrote down all the pressing years and which one Harry T. Moss HTM was involved with, because there's always seems to be controversy on these box sets. So which ones have the Harry T. Moss HTM cuts? On this box set, the Harry T. Moss is on every album except for Please Please Me, With the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, all the early ones. And Harry T. Moss is not on the White Album, but he recut all the other pressings that are in this box set. And Tom Port from Better Records swears on his $200,000 system, the Help pressing is the best audiophile stereo pressing of Help that exists. It has a matrix of -4 HTM on the A side and -4 HTM on the B side. He says also the Abbey Road with the HTM recut and the Let It Be with a recut is the best pressing in his opinion, audiophile pressing, better than the original because there's less bass roll-off, because he did it in the late 1970s. He recut them. He was able to put more bass in than they could in the 60s on the original pressings. So this is, she got an 82 box from me, but the pressings, the ones with 1978 through 82 are the best stereo box sets to find on the BC13. Mazzy showed in his last Steve Westman video they had the other day, their round table. He has a 1978 numbered box, and all the albums are sealed inside there that Capitol imported from United Kingdom in 1978. I had one of those a couple weeks ago. I showed on my videos where they were all sealed with a little hype sticker on them, and one gentleman out there bought almost all of them, but it's worth a lot more than what Mazzy says. He thought it was only worth $500 to $600, but because it's the first year of that box set of the BC13, it's the best audiophile pressings, and they're worth a lot more than what he said. I think they're worth way over $1,000 for the 1978 box set.
Oh my gosh.
Any questions on the BC13? Glad she was happy with the, it's a she, right? That bought that 1982.
Ninox? I would.
What?
Nino.
Let me see this.
Ninox.
I'm not sure.
So, I don't know.
I'm glad you're happy with it.
But they liked it, I said.
Talk about some audiophile pressings. What do you say, sticker kid?
Do it. That's that one.
You got a joke? No jokes?
Daniel Castillo said, are the vocals censored for the BC13?
Are they what?
Are the vocals centered for the BC13?
Are the on the BC13? No, it's a regular UK pressings. They're not centered. The Beatles for Sale, they're centered a little bit, but what?
Keep your hands
All
away
right.
from the mouth.
But the With the Beatles and Please Please Me still has the Rubber Soul has the panning on the left and the right. The right way the original pressings were. No, Harry T. Moss didn't recut them with the vocals in the center. All right, we got the ultimate pressing and Please Please Me, the 1973 Horzoo pressing of the Beatles. And this one is factory sealed. It's the first time I've ever had a factory sealed of the 1973 pressing. It's up for sale on my eBay store. STICKERMANIA 2853 at $299. Got the Magical Mystery Tour. This is the 1977 France contract pressing that uses the Germany true stereo cutting of A1B3. It sounds just as good as the Horzu. It was done in the late 70s, and France was real good at pressing albums, the Beatles albums, like the Abbey Road 1973, when Abbey Road Studios was closed for renovations, and they got all the master tapes from Abbey Road Studios, and they were pressing Beatles albums in France when Abbey Road was closed. But this is a 1977 pressing that really sounded amazing when I played it the other day. My Thorns TD 320 turntable from the 70s. I had them put a new stylus on it the other day. Magnetic tape here in Louisville, and it really sounds good. Then we have these two. There was an Australian on Steve Westman's round table from Australia, and he says these are audiophile pressings of the Beatles from 1978, where they used the original stereo analog master tape supplied by Abbey Road Studios to cut these albums. You notice the width of Beatles. These are both sealed. They weren't allowed to use the artwork, so they made their own artwork for With the Beatles. See how much it's different than the one we're used to. Show you the difference. I can find it real quick. What do you say, Sticker Kid? Tell us a joke.
No.
No joke?
What do you want for your birthday this year?
Something cool.
Like what's something
What's
cool that's not crazy, but
Something that's for 13-year-olds.
All right. What's for a 13-year-old?
Stuff.
Long time. I can't remember when I was 13.
Maybe if you subtract 60.
57 years. See the big difference of the original With the Beatles from the United Kingdom and the one from Australia. And the Beatles for Sale. You know what the Beatles for Sale looks like from the United Kingdom. This is much different. They used photos from the Beatles in concert in Australia. The back is much different too. But both of these are sealed. I got 3 sealed imports here. They brought them, there was an importer that was big in the New York area, and they would import these audiophile pressings to the United States, and they would seal them before they were put into record stores. All right, talked about that. Got these the other day through eBay, and the seller got a violation for selling them to me because they're underground albums. I couldn't even leave feedback on them. But these are the best sounding underground albums you can buy of the Beatles from the 80s, or it might have been early 90s. But the story goes that the author, when he was doing the research on the book, The Beatles Tune In, that it was his earlier books, the Beatles recordings. He copied some of the master tapes of the outtakes, and they somehow snuck out onto these albums, and he was forbid for ever going back into the Abbey Road vaults again. These are 3 amazing sounding underground albums, or you might know them as bootleg albums. Can't sell these on eBay, but my buddy Kevin Records, I think, is going to sell them for me at a record show here in Louisville next weekend.
Put that up for it.
There's two albums in each one of these.
Put that away.
Yeah, the book's heavy. Put it over there.
Hold it with it.
There's 2 albums in each one of these, and it has an insert where it describes the outtake and how it's different than the regular version. Called Ultra Rare Tracks, Volume 1 and 2. The second one's Volume 3 and 4. This is Volume 1 and 2, the back of it. And then we got Volume 5 and 6. There they are with Yoko. Got this in today. First time I've ever had this original program from the spring of 1963. And if you can believe, on this tour, the Beatles were an opening band for Chris Montez and Tommy Rowe. There they are, Beatles on the back. What's really cool about this program, though, well, I'll show you they had 2 sections of the concert, and the Beatles closed the first section. Then there was an intermission, and then they had the second part of the show. But can you imagine having to follow the Beatles? That had to be pretty tough to do. Spring of 1963, and on this ad it says, "Coming shortly, an LP by the Beatles on Parlophone Records." And it's got a mock-up cover of Please Please Me. That isn't even the finished cover of Please Please Me. So that's pretty amazing. That's a pretty rare concert program from the spring of 1963 in the United Kingdom.
What are you trying to tell me?
You guys got something you want to say?
I like it.
You like it?
I want to know what he's trying to tell me.
What's he trying to say? That's the director. He's just trying to give you some tips. You want to do your subscribe and like?
No,
No? How many subscribers do we have now?
1,000.
1,224. You were close. 1,224.
42.
Say whoopee!
Both y'all was wrong. Ha ha ha.
42.
Oh, 1,242. All right. This is the first time I ever had this 1964 Rolling Stones program. This is a lot tougher to find than the 1965 and 66, because before Satisfaction, outside of LA and New York, they weren't drawing very many people. They played Dayton Hare Arena in 1964, and there was only less than 700 people in the audience, paying audience. So to find a 1964 program is pretty tough. A picture of the young Rolling Stones. Brian Jones, right over here. That's when he was, before he went AWOL, he was really talented. He was almost the leader of the band at the very beginning. Backstage moments with the Rolling Stones. It's a pretty large program too. It's about 20 pages. In the recording studio, Charlie Watts. You got a question, Sticker Kid? Go ahead.
I don't want to ask no more because he ruined it.
Well, tell me, what's your question? Come on, you'd be live. People were asking where you were last week.
I was at home.
You were at home?
That's what it was.
All right.
Enjoying your birthday.
Alright, we got the rare Beatles memorabilia in near mint condition of the Beatles car mascot bobbing head dolls in the box. They've hardly ever been removed from the box, still has the plastic windows. It's only the second time I've ever had it in this nice condition. They're usually always
Trash.
for trash, yeah. It's got the inserts. I'm gonna get the instruction sheet. He forgot to send it from the seller, but it'll be, I'll get it by Monday. The original green instruction sheets. But if you notice, can they see this?
Mm-hmm.
It has the stickers and the strips on. It's rare to have them on the bottom. That's how you know you don't have a counterfeit. You got the real deal. Got the sticker and the strips that you would take off and put it on the back of by your back window, so the Beatles could bob to your AM radio when you cranked it up.
Did you drive around with something like that in your car?
And yes, Ringo has both his drumsticks, original drumsticks. That's really nice. Those things are really fragile. I think I will move that out of everybody's way. I don't want to get that damaged at all.
Yeah. He's not talking about me. Hopefully.
I got another one of these Anthology 1996 promo kits in last week. I sold one, went out in the mail earlier today. This is about the third one I've ever had of this. Got the sneak preview VHS tape in there. See how it looks like a box of old Beatle albums. Open it up, it's got the binder. It's all the promotional for the video and the TV special, the 3-part TV special in 1996.
Can I take that binder to my school?
You want to take that binder to your school?
Yeah.
Yeah, better not do that.
That's not nice to say.
Not nice to say.
I want that binder.
Daniel Castillo asked, were you a fan of Murray the K?
Murray the K. A little bit. He got pushy when they first came to America, but especially in that press conference at the Pan Am when the Beatles first came to America, February 7th. But the other photographers and interviewers were getting upset, saying, "Murray, settle down." But then Murray he had the Ronettes in his radio show, and he brought them to the Plaza Hotel, and he got in there and talked to the Beatles because he was with the Ronettes. George was kind of hitting on one of the young sisters in the Ronettes.
Whoa.
What?
Nothing.
No.
Justin Mantino said, that's a nice set of baubles.
Bobbing head dolls? It is a nice set.
Bauble said.
Bobbing head dolls. Once one of the rarest set of bobbing head dolls you could ever find in the world.
The one of me is better.
They were made in Japan and imported to Los Angeles. And even RC Cola had a promotion where if you bought 2 liters and you got this coupon in the store and you sent away, I think it was $1.50 plus $1 shipping, and you got one of these set of bobbing head dolls. That's pretty amazing in 1964. I'd say this is worth a lot more than $3 now.
Did you get it in 1964?
I didn't get one in 1964, no. I was only 10 years old. I was lucky just to get a 45 record. I had a 45 record of World Without Love by Peter and Gordon. Remember, that was the first one I ever had.
What the heck is that?
And then I noticed they had Lennon and McCartney as the credits of the writers. And then I found out later that Paul McCartney had written that song for Peter when he was living on the top floor when he was dating Peter's sister, Jane Asher. All right, we talked about that. Got this from Harry's Music Room. On our interview on Rachel's Ghost, he showed that Beatle collection that he got that earlier than the day before our interview on February 7th. And I won this in the Harry's auction on eBay. It's a promo from late 1963 on Swan for She Loves You. It says promotional copy on there. Don't drop out. And in the dead wax, it has mastering Rico Art Philadelphia. That's how you know you have the real deal. And they all had X's on there. That was printed on the label, so the DJs knew which side to play. They were supposed to play She Loves You and not I'll Get You. But I heard a story where I'll Get You was played so much in one city that it was almost on top of the charts. So that's a heck of a song too, I'll Get You.
How about you start saying words and not sign language? I don't understand what you're trying to tell me.
Well,
He
all right.
He told me to
Smile.
Smile. Let's say a smile, little smile. Boy, you're mean. Hey, here's your favorite cover. This is the one I peeled, butcher cover this week. Let's see if I can get it out of here. Comes down here. This is about the sixth near mint butcher cover I peeled in my lifetime out of the 120 or so that I peeled. No tears and no touch-ups. East Coast Scranton, number 3. Got some wear there on the back, but that front butcher slick sure looks nice. It's up for sale on my eBay store at $1,888. And that's the remove trunk slick. It came off, the trunk slick came off, and then there was a whole layer of paper, and the other layer from the trunk slick was left with the glue, and then I was able to remove it all. And there you go. I'm 70, but I can still peel these butcher covers.
That's a good thing.
And that's the matching East Coast with a small straight up number 1. That's how you know you got an East Coast from Scranton. Scranton, it's not New Jersey, Scranton, Pennsylvania. That's where one of the Capitol record plants was. I had 3 of them, Scranton, Jacksonville, and Los Angeles. And they destroyed them all in the Jacksonville. The only ones that survived with the number 4 were a few that got snuck out the back door. But I think that about 50 or 60,000 were destroyed in Jacksonville, Illinois.
Dang.
How would you know I was there? How would you know I was there, Mr. Stickerman?
I just knew.
How would you know I was hiding?
You were hiding?
No.
So I peeled a real nice stereo for John on the East Coast last week, and he was real happy with it. And he's going to send me a mono to peel left from the Gary Hine estate. I used to talk to Gary Hine on the phone for hours and hours. He would never tell me his secret in peeling the West Coast butcher covers. But if you need to get a hold of me about a Beatles collection or peeling a butcher cover, it's Mr_STICKERMANIA at yahoo.com.
Mr. STICKERMANIA.
Yeah?
May I have permission to leave the room just for a second?
Yes.
It's only a second. Come
Alright.
on.
Which way you going?
This way. I'm sorry, Mr. King.
Come back. Come back. Don't miss you. You got a question?
Yeah. You're in. Oh, Joseph Mancino said you're in a raw, beautiful peel.
You like the peel?
Yeah, he said he liked the
Yeah.
peel.
It's a nice.
It was good.
Real nice when you get that glue and paper off there and you don't lose any of the original vivid colors of their faces. And you don't, I had a little trouble there on the bottom edge, but it's beautiful there. And then you got those horizontal glue lines right through there that's normal, where that water-based glue was applied when they applied that trunk slick to it. Got these in this week. These are the very first issue of Beatle 8-track tapes in the probably 1966 in the United States. They were on a white instead of black, and after a couple years they replaced them with the black shell because the white showed so much wear when you played them in your car. But this is the very first issue of Beatles 8-track tapes in the United States in the original Capitol 8-track stereo sleeves. I got this, whoa. Huh.
Oh.
I got the second album. I got Magical Mystery Tour, which would have come out in 1967. And the Sgt. Pepper is that black that was from the late 1960s. It originally came out in a white like these, but it also has the original pink titles and the original Capitol sleeve. Pretty tough to find these original issues.
Say that.
Daniel Castillo said, what do you think actually happened in India? The Beatles started to drift apart after.
What's that? Let me see. I can't see it.
Daniel Castillo said, what do you think actually happened in India? The Beatles started to drift apart after.
When they went to India, I don't know. You know much as I do, but you're right. They started weren't much of a group anymore, united group when they got back from India.
Maybe something happened. Maybe someone died. Like Paul.
No. If Paul died, how did they get the replacement to take over and write Get Back and Hey Jude? That would be my question.
Because they're smart. It's the government. Their time in India needs to be documented more. Daniel Castillo said.
Yeah, it does. I met the one Beatle Fest. I met that Paul that wrote the book on the Beatles in India, and he was actually there when he was a teenager and took the pictures of the Beatles there at India with Maharishi.
Yeah.
I had a signed book a couple years ago, but I sold it.
Why?
Why? Because that's what I do. I buy, I sell, and I buy something else.
Mr. STICKERMANIA.
Now let's talk about the $10 million Hofner bass guitar. Well, you had a question. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Tell her to stop laughing. All
Yeah. Suppose they just released this in the news that the Hofner bass was found that's been missing since 1972 But if you read the article, it said they knew about it in September, that this family had it up there in their attic for years and years and didn't even know this was the Hofner bass that belonged to Paul McCartney, that he recorded the first 2 albums on. He bought it in Germany when he was 18 years old for like 30 pounds. But that's it right there, the missing Hofner bass. And it's back in Paul's custody again. Paul had 2 people from Hofner that did an all-out investigation and research to find it. And it took them like a year and a half, but they did find it. It got stole out of a van in 1972 when Wings were rehearsing. And the people that stole the guitar didn't even know who that guitar belonged to. But I would say there's only one other guitar that's worth equivalent to what this Hofner bass is in history, and that would be Jimmy Page's double neck guitar he played Stairway to Heaven on.
Daniel Castillo said, funny because Paul gave a similar story of Bill Black's bass.
Of what?
He said, funny because Paul gave a similar story of Bill Black's bass.
Oh, about Bill Black's bass from Elvis Presley?
Yeah, that's one.
How it was missing and then they found it?
I think.
Paul McCartney owns Bill Black's bass, the great big stand-up bass. He has that in his Sussex, like a little museum. If you ever notice that when they interview Paul, you can see that big stand-up bass behind him. And Bill Black was a bass player there for Elvis Presley there in the beginning. What do you think of that? You ever heard of Elvis Presley?
Oh!
What's the song that Elvis does? I'm sure you don't know. What's it? What we talk about the Grammys? Of course, Olivia Rodrigo. She was good. She did Vampire. But I also like that other girl that did at the beginning, Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa. Oh, yeah.
That tall girl.
Yeah, I know someone.
Yeah. That she was a girlfriend of Jack Harlow, our local star.
Yeah, I think.
She's not the girlfriend of him anymore, but she was a year ago. But boy, she's a heck of a performer of those of the new ones. Miley Cyrus, I know everybody talks about her, but I'm not that impressed with her.
Oh.
You like her?
That's rude.
You like that Flower song she did?
I don't know what that is, but she
That's
got some good songs.
That's what she did on the Grammys.
Ew. She got some.
But Olivia was a supporter of Billy Joel doing that song.
Who the heck's Billy Joel?
Billy Joel. Uptown Girl, I don't know what songs you would know from him. His famous song is Piano Man.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Psych. Papa don't think I'm funny.
Alright, my buddy, this is left from the Crab Orchard, Tennessee estate sale that we went to, a Beatles collector, and here's some Japanese picture sleeves from John Lennon. Got this from my buddy Kevin Records. There's one for Cold Turkey. John and Yoko on there with the x-rays of their skulls. One for Nobody Told Me from Japan. And one for Number 9 Dream. There's John Lennon, the way he looked in the mid-1970s in New York City. We talked about the Billy Joel, where the live version is so much better than the studio version. And these are the 2 picture sleeves of Coming Up from 1980 from Paul McCartney. I heard the live version the other day, and it is so much better than the regular studio version. But this is the promo where it says Coming Up live at Glasgow. That was in the McCartney 2 album in 1980. And this is the regular stock. This is the stock copy that you got in the store. One side had the regular studio version of Coming Up, and the other side had the live version. And the DJs decided the live version was so much better to play. And that's the one that became the hit.
Novus Nick said, "Hi Frank, sorry I'm late."
Novus Nick, thanks.
Can I?
One of our regular viewers.
Can I call you Frank?
You can call me Frank, yeah. What's the question?
I already asked.
Huh?
I already asked.
That
What'd
was
you
the
ask?
question.
Can I call you?
Yeah, you can call me Frank, yeah.
Why'd your voice go out?
That's my name.
Oh!
You're alive and well. A bratty teenager, almost.
I want you to know I don't find that funny.
You don't find that funny?
No.
You're a bratty teenager.
All right. Let's talk about some magazines. I finally got a real nice Meet the Beatles cover from 1964. A Scranton number 3. No seam splits, in excellent condition that I can match with my first pressing stereo record that has no copyrights after the titles. Just says, "I want to hold your hand," and the time. That was a mistake, and only the first 20,000 that were pressed had that. But I got a real nice cover to put with that now. That'll be going up on my STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store tomorrow. Are you taking over as Mr. STICKERMANIA? All right.
Alright, talk about that. Let's go. Introduce it.
Oh no.
I don't have gloves.
Or just talk about it. You don't open it, you talk about
Where's
it.
the 3 magazines that I just had laid out there?
You put them back.
I don't think I did. Oh, here they are. All right, I'll talk here from the side.
Yeah.
Whoa, I just sunk down.
I get my spike. Thank you.
Rare.
We got this Shindig program. I showed this, I think, on the Rachel Ghost, but I haven't showed it on my channel. It's a tour program from the spring of 1965 when Shindig was a big TV show, music TV show on ABC. It was a half-hour show the first year, and then it went to a hour show the second season. Presents ABC TV the Shindig Live Concert. This was the first leg that had the New Beats. They had a big hit with Bread and Butter, the Hondales, the Dixie Cups. But what's nice about this program, you got Jimmy O'Neill there, and then Jack Good was a producer that was brought over from England where he did some TV shows, and this is actually autographed by Jack Good, the late Jack Good. We would never have the Shindig show if it wasn't for Jack Good. But there is a story about Jack Good that he kind of got into it with the Beatles, telling them when they performed on Shindig of what he wanted them to do. And John Lennon says, "No, we're going to do it the way we want to do it." And the Beatles won the argument. But this is pretty nice. Got the original coupon for the record club in the middle there. And it's complete, not marked. Pretty nice. Shindig. First two were, and when I bought that at our local antique toy mall here in Louisville, Kentucky, it was stuck down there in the bottom of a booth. They had this with it. Dave Clark and the Fabulous Five. One of the early programs that explains how the Dave Clark Five became rivals of the Beatles.
Novice Nick said, wow.
About what?
I don't know.
Wow. It's about this, the hidden story about the Dave Clark Five. There's only two members that are still alive, Dennis and Dave. But I love bits and pieces. I heard it today at the store and glad all over. But that thumping drums and that what gets you into that song, that's not really Dave Clark playing the drums. He could never play the drums that good. They had a studio musician drummer that did all those big hits. But I guess Dave has paid Dennis not to talk about it. None of the members of the Dave Clark Five ever came out and said what really happened, but it's pretty obvious it wasn't Dave Clark. He was just an actor that was pretending to be a drummer. But that Glad All Over that knocked one of the Beatles songs off of #1 is a heck of a song. One more magazine I got in. This is the rarest issue of Teen Set because it's got Jim Morrison on the cover and articles about the Beatles and the Who and Cream. And it still has a poster in the middle of the Doors. It's not attached anymore, but original poster of Jim Morrison and the Doors there in the middle of this magazine. That's up for sale on my eBay store at $99. Teen Set from June of 1968. Any questions about any of that?
I got a question.
What's your question?
What's that?
This is the
It's cute.
this is the best Giles Martin remix album, in my opinion, that ever came out. The Beatles' Love. 2-album set that Giles Martin remixed with his dad, George, when he was real young. The way the songs go into each other, Because and Get Back, Drive My Car, The Word, and What You're Doing all in the same medley. It's a heck of an album. This pressing sealed and it was pressed in, made in Holland. All right.
I'm gonna pause you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause you.
What?
It took me maybe 3 minutes to understand what he's trying to tell me.
What's he telling you?
He's trying to tell me to say like and subscribe.
Oh, well, let's do that.
I don't want to now.
Come on.
I just said it.
Say it again. Say it with projected. Come on, you can do it.
Like and subscribe.
Say it a little louder.
Like and subscribe.
Please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe right now.
No, you don't have to be bossy.
Do you like that seat?
Yeah, I like that seat. How about we switch back so we can finish
No, I like this
So we can
seat
finish
more.
this
It
up.
makes me feel taller.
it? Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Read that one.
Can I leave?
Daniel Castillo said Muhammad Ali became a champion and famous after he agreed to meet the Beatles.
He became a what?
He became a champion and famous after he agreed
Yeah,
to
after he met when the Beatles were in Miami, which is about the 60th anniversary right now. The Beatles met Muhammad Ali at his training, where he was training there in Miami. But the Beatles were late, and Muhammad was a little bit upset. But once the Beatles realized the way that Muhammad wanted to handle the little photo sessions, he was cool with it. he was picking up Ringo, and he was acting like he was a champion. The Beatles were all down there on the mat saying, "Oh, please don't hit me, please don't hit me."
Brad Parnell said, "Hi, everybody."
Brad Parnell.
Hi.
Brad Parnell sees this at the value market. He'll probably been through your lunch. He did. He said he bought something from you.
We have 9 more minutes.
9 more minutes. Any questions before we wrap this up? How's it going, Brad? You been playing any of your ukulele anymore? Sure you have. I saw a little bit of your video with the that you sent me the link on with the bearded. Can't remember.
Bearded dragon.
I don't know if it's a bearded man or what, but that's the video he was on. Give me some of those books down there. Show those books. Then we'll end this.
How many?
Show me that little one first, then show me the other one. This was one of the first reference books I ever had on the Beatles from 1978. Altogether now, the first complete Beatles discography, 1961 to 1975. This is the paperback version of it. Another great reference book from a few years back. It's the Standard Price Guide for American Beatle Records, 2nd edition by Stan, the Beatle Man, Panica, out there in California. He had the Sgt. Pepper album that had the 4 Alan Livingston, the 4 Beatles, or the Capitol Records executives were on the cover of a mock-up of Sgt. Pepper. I think he sold it for over $200,000.
Brad Parnell said, "Beard of Pop," and Nova's Nick said, "What was the highlight purchase of the week?" And what Brad was saying was just answering your question.
Bearded, what is it? Bearded?
Beard of Pop.
Let me see it.
Beard of Pop. It's right there.
Beard of Pop. All right. My holy grail of this week would be, I lost my seat again. I would say it's this here, the Beatles, bobbing head, car mascots.
I do like it.
This is only the second time I've had this about 20 times, but this second time I've had it where it was in near mint condition.
Can I buy it?
Yeah, for about $1,500. You got cash or a check?
Family
Credit
discount.
card? Family discount?
Yeah, like 50%.
Pretty nice. That's my holy grail purchase of this week.
Brad Parnell said he would let you know when he got on live again.
All right.
And then Mr. Beatles Pro said, "Have you ever seen a BC13 box set with a gold sticker on the side with a serial number on it?"
Yes. The early 1980s BC13s from England had the gold number on the side, but they're not the 78 to 80. They're later, like 1984. It was pressed all the way to 86 when it was almost becoming to the digital area. But the best pressing BC13s. Let me get that BC13.
Here, let me move my seat.
Melvis Nick said, "Thanks, Frank. They look beautiful."
They do look beautiful. This is the BC13 at the 78s. Boxes were kind of dark blue like this, and then it became a lighter blue in the later in the 1980s, the 84 and 86. I always ask when somebody puts one of these up on eBay. I always ask the question. I'm going to give one of my trade secrets away.
Who are these people?
I'm sure you knew one. That was the Blue Meanie and Yellow Submarine. That was their Halloween costume, the Blue Meanie.
What's Blue Meanie?
So the first question I always ask when somebody has a BC13, because they never know from what year it is, I said, what is the original, what is the date on the bottom of the white original inner sleeve. And they said, well, there is no date. I said, well, it's the way United Kingdom dated stuff. It says 1180. So what month would 11 be from? What is it? What year? What month and year was this record pressed? 1180.
What is it?
What month of the year would 11 be? If there's 12 months.
October, no, November.
All right, November, and then what year? 1180. November of what year? You can get it.
1180.
1980. I thought you were gonna
You
figure that out.
said, you said 1180. I thought
I know that's the way.
The 11 is the month and the 80 is the year.
Is the year. That's the way United
That's
Kingdom.
the way they identify it.
That's the way they identify what year that pressing came out. That's one of my trade secrets.
I'm so sad.
So if somebody ever answers that they have pressings from 78 or 80 or 81, I know it's a true stereo audiophile BC13. This is another good reference book. I showed this on the Rachel's Ghost channel. Shout out to Rachel's Ghost. She's really helped my channel a lot. Beatles for sale on Parlophone Records. When I buy those first early pressings of the Beatles albums from the United Kingdom, this book by Bruce Spicer describes all the albums and what year you look for on the cover and the record label, so you know the exact pressing of it.
Daniel Castillo asked, was Magical Mysteries Tour film Paul's first major film?
Magical Mystery Tour, was that Paul's first major fail? He was pretty much the director, I would say so. Yeah. I mean, the album's great, but the film, Steven Spielberg liked it. He said he was in college and he thought it really helped him become a director, but it's a weird film.
Mr. STICKERMANIA.
I had these, when my son was young, I had the 16mm print of Magical Mystery Tour and the Beatles at Washington Coliseum. And I would go to Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, and I'd play those two, and I think I charged $2, and I'd have like 50 college students, and they were pretty much amazed when they saw the Beatles live at the Washington, D.C. Coliseum from February 11th, 1964. And then they were also pretty intrigued to watch the Magical Mystery Tour film. It was about 50 minutes long.
I'm blind.
These are two reference books on the Beatles memorabilia. This is an older one from the 80s called A Beatles, a Collection by Robert and Cindy Del, I don't know how to say their last name, Del Buno. But Robert still sells, he has a eBay site. I buy things, all the Beatles memorabilia, he's selling it bit by bit on eBay. And then Terry Crane was at the Fest for Beatle fans in New York last week. I met him in Chicago last weekend, and he was on one of the panels. He's a real nice guy. He autographed that book for me. He says, "To Frank, have a fab and Gary Day, Terry Crane." One story about that New York Fest for Beatle fans at the JFK airport. I heard that a hamburger was $33, and I heard that the crew wanted to order pizza out to celebrate when it was all over with, and the hotel forbid that you had to order it from the hotel. They wouldn't let pizza delivered inside the hotel. So that's pretty amazing. We had some high prices in Chicago, but it was nothing like that.
Brad Parnell said the Bonezo Dog Doodah Band were in Magical Mystery Tour playing Death Cab.
Death Cab for Cutie, you're correct. And there is a group now that's called Death Cab for Cutie. And what was their big hit? And who produced it?
Money.
Out there in the peanut gallery. What's their name? Bonzo
Dog Doodah.
Doodah Band?
Yep.
Yeah, they had a big hit. And one of the Beatles was a producer of it under a pseudonym. So the big hit was I'm the Urban Spaceman, and Paul McCartney was the producer of that song. All right, any other questions? I think we got about an hour there.
Brad he just answered it. He says he had the 45.
Yeah, I talked to him about that at the store. All right, Sticker Kid, you did a good job. You're a little animated there. Thanks, Sticker Granddaughter, you did good. Till next week, I got some...
Mrs.
Yeah.
STICKERMANIA.
Yeah.
We're the same height.
Yeah, I know. You're bigger than I am now. Boy, you're growing quick. All right, check us out next Saturday, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same bat channel, same bat time. And I'll have some new Beatles, Stones, and Led Zeppelin new arrivals of music memorabilia for next week. See you then. Thanks.
Have a nice day.